Record. Good afternoon. Morning. I'm Dr. Shit. Stop. Oh. Record. Lovely to meet you, however virtually. I'm Dr. Lee Lawrence, the leading researcher and senior chairperson of Mothers All. I'm here to speak on behalf of my archival project for posterity. Let me say I'm honored to lead and contribute to this permanent record, this virtual time capsule of humanity's relationship to birth. I created this project to offer context and insight into what is now considered an unprecedented humanitarian feat that fundamentally altered our foundational understanding of the human body's potential. The irony being that the body has always done what it wants, unfortunately. Brushing up against one's impotence is humbling. But I digress. First, a brief history. 2083 saw worldwide riots for resources, hence the resource war. There were bombings, some nuclear. There was a lot of bloodshed, a lot of suffering, chaos, until the summit. Leaders from 190 of our 195 nations met and mutually agreed to global sterilization to manage population and conserve rapidly dwindling resources. Over the course of 2 years, more than 13 million doctors performed more than 1 billion vasectomies, hysterectomies, tubal ligation, transluminal procedures. Every water system, aqueduct, and mountain-fed stream were treated pharmacologically with neutering chemicals that were successful in children as young as 5. Of course, mass sterilization is tantamount to special suicide. Mothers All included a series of pilot programs, all aimed at continuing life in other ways we could control. People laughed at the notion that science could save us. And yet, here we are, with a goal as ambitious as Mothers All. There were, we admit to, unforeseen complications. In the wake of mass sterilization, there was discord.
Hi. Well, you know who I am. You couldn't have missed us. Me. I'm Isabel Isley. I was part of the... This is fucking ridiculous. Everyone knows this story. All right. Fine. This is for all you nerds out there. Still invested in history. Ugly and dusty, if you ask me, but what Dr. Lee wants, Dr. Lee gets. Isn't that right, boys? I mean, okay. Even before the resource war, crispers, anarchists, junkies, everyone was messing with genes, 3D printing organs. It was a wild time. You could have a clitoris in your palm. You could have night vision, a leopard tail. I mean, people are really sick. You should have seen some of the shit that people were... It was, very unregulated. But, you know, what I want to really talk about is, well, will you include any of that in the archive? No, I wouldn't include that little horror show in this history tour either. Let's see. As for me, I was part of the black market fallout of Mothers All. These, like, really creepy but totally genius women followed my biological mother, the actress, Catherine Isley, to the nail salon. They got her skin from a cuticle trimmer. Those bitches were clever. And as for my father, the football player, Adam Balog, it was believed that they got his skin from a shooting range out in Montana. He cut himself gutting a deer. So rugged, right? All right. So, the point is that, yes, Catherine and Adam were a little freaked out when they found out about all of us, but now we're super close. We all think it's kind of hilarious and miraculous. I mean, they have all these beautiful children, and they've never even touched one another. But celebrity and beauty and science and desire, it all gathered together. I'm a living, breathing fan fiction. Ooh, that's good.
Good evening. I'm Alex Merchant, and I'm here with Mr. and Mrs. Ponlius. They've recently been found not guilty in the case brought against them by St. Mary's Hospital, London. They are granting Look-See News their first exclusive interview since they first went to trial. For those not familiar with this extraordinary story, Sasha Ponlius, age 17, died in a tragic motorcycle accident 6 years ago this spring. His father, Dr. Michael Ponlius, a celebrated surgeon, extracted the sperm from his dead son's body before being shipped to a fertility clinic in Nashville, Tennessee. Surrogacy laws exist in a decidedly grey area in the UK. It is legal to carry someone else's child, but you cannot profit from doing so. Contracts between parents and surrogates are not recognized by UK law, which is why so many turn to other countries, particularly America, to find a surrogate. The Ponlius' surrogate, Anne Handel, who was also the egg donor, was hired by Mr. and Mrs. Ponlius for more than $50,000 to carry their grandchild. She will soon give birth to what they all believe will be a healthy baby boy, whom they're calling Spencer. Mrs. Ponlius, let's start with you. This trial has been called bizarre, macabre, unethical. You've gone on record stating that children under the age of 18...
Samantha?
Yes. Oh, I'm so sorry. Sometimes I think I'm in a dream, a bad dream. Could you please repeat?
Well, Samantha and I feel very strongly that the untimely death of a child robs parents of closure. It disturbs the natural order of things.
Mrs. Ponlius, you've said that underage children are tantamount to property of their parents.
Yes, I believe that.
That
yes.
their rights are a mere extension of their parents' better judgment. But what do you say to those who worry that the magnitude of such a loss might distort that judgment?
Do you have children, Alex?
No, my wife and I never wanted children. We find we're quite a handful just on our own.
Then you are not one, but 3 psychic realities removed from what Michael and I went through. You not only do not have children, but you have never even experienced how profound a desire that can be, so you couldn't possibly understand the loss that you refer to.
I recognize that you're a devoted mother, a mourning mother, and I respect that.
Well, Sam will always be an incredible mother. And what we went through during the trial, we were stunned there even was a trial, that St. Mary's would think that well, after all, nothing we'd done was illegal.
Yes, let's talk about the trial. Now, this entire situation was rather unprecedented.
As the law stands now, the use of sperm after death in fertility treatments is currently permitted in the UK only if the person gave their consent before their death. There is no specific legislation in regards to egg or sperm donation after you are dead. It's left in the hands of clinics and hospitals.
Yes, but the problem was that you didn't ask St. Mary's. You took matters into your own hands. Now, I suppose my question is, and perhaps this is the crux of what the entire trial was about, what you had done might not have been illegal, but was it ethical? Do you think we should be making decisions like these for people after they're dead?
Well, I think that there are many, many murky places. Places where the laws have not yet caught up with human desire, or with science.
All the advancements we're churning out every day. What we're capable of vastly outpaces the development of our legislation. And nowhere are things muddier than in science.
And you took advantage of these less muddy surrogacy laws in the United States.
That's right, Alex. Don't say capitalism never did anything for you. Land of the brave and the free, where everything is permitted if you have enough money, of course.
We'll talk more about their recent legal battle, this strange loophole, and meet their controversial surrogate and handle after the break.
Record. We knew we didn't need men to conceive babies for a long time. That piece was easy, socioculturally and medically. But removing the burden from women, from anyone born with a uterus entirely, well, that was revelatory. We bent the body to our will. No. We released the body itself from its own burden. When the Japanese finally realized the dream, creating stem cells from skin cells, we had male and female gametes in the shallow shoals of a petri dish that could be combined into a zygote, a completely fertilized egg. Entire lives that needed nothing more than skin and glass.
Nancy, hi. Michael Ponley is here. Christ, yes. Well, thank you. Can't lie. It's been a rough couple of days. Not sure I know what day it is. Samantha is holding up okay, I guess. I mean, considering that sorry. Listen, is Jim in the office? Oh, yes, of course. Thank you again. Yeah, will do. Bye for now. Jim, hi. Oh, Christ, yes. Well, thank you. Can't lie. It's been a rough couple of days. Not sure I know what day it is. Listen, I'm just going to blurt it out. It's not easy for me to ask for help. Well, yes, I know I can depend on you, Jim, and that's why I'm calling. We've been friends a long time. Well, I need to ask you something confidentially. Well, I appreciate that. I do. Because what I'm asking isn't strictly illegal. Jim, you needn't whisper. We're just two old men on the phone, for Christ's sake. You're not that bloody important, Jim. Who on earth would be listening? I need you to go to the morgue. No, not to identify Sasha's body. We need you to collect some of Sasha's sperm. Well, we want grandchildren. Samantha is beside herself. I mean, you can understand. Well, the laws, well, they're muddy, which is why I feel all right about it. I mean, I do it myself, but... Well, it's not my specialty, Jim, it's yours. No, I think you're overestimating security at a morgue. It's just some pencil neck at the desk. But, of course they let you in. I could simply call beforehand and say that one of my colleagues would... Well, I appreciate that. I do, but... Well... I thought you'd want to help us out. Yes, well, I'm sorry too, Jim. Yeah, let me know if you change your mind. Yeah. Yes. I will. Thanks.
There were actually 8 of us, identical. We were developed in a lab, in an attic, in a house out in Rockaway Park in Brooklyn. In case you don't know that area, rather rustic. I don't know where most of my siblings are. I talked to Sebby and June. Marcos is dead. I saw Zizi recently. She's a dancer. It was like watching my ghost on stage. I tried to talk to her afterwards, but the stage manager flipped out when he realized who we were. Not everyone is as evolved as they should be around this whole skin kid thing, you know? I'm the future. You can't get a cup of coffee without seeing my face. Why would you deny where you've come from, who you are? It's just self-flagellating, delusional bullshit, if you ask me. And, as my therapist says, why deny destiny? Especially when it looks this good. Life, it will always find a way.
And very much loved, and I promise that I'll most take time more careful.
No. A little dirt don't sully the word of the Lord.
It's just been one of those days. I'm feeling very distracted, Pastor Finley.
So you said in your message. Come on now, let's sit down for a minute and tell me what's on your mind.
Well, I'm sure you've seen the ads for the parents in need of surrogate.
I have quite an interesting prospect.
So you're in favor then?
Oh, I'm far from sanctioning what these people are asking for.
Oh. Well, the thing is, Pastor, I'd like to formally interview. Or at least I think I would. But I've prayed and prayed on it, and I just can't decide if it's right. And I can't find anything about this, obviously, in the Bible, and so I guess I was just hoping that maybe...
Well, you're right, Ann. There's nothing explicit about surrogacy in the Bible now. The closest thing we have is in Genesis chapter 16. Here the Bible tells the story of Sarah, who was unable to bear children, so she offers up her servant Hagar to her husband Abraham.
But that isn't really what this is. I would not be having sex, Pastor. I mean, it would be my egg and my womb, but But I'd be helping out this couple who want a baby so bad. I mean, can you imagine, Pastor, bearing your own son?
Well, over here in Psalms 127:3, the Bible says that children are a gift, but not everyone is blessed with it. God's not a paid magician at your birthday party. He does not give us everything we want.
So it's not the Christian thing to do.
It could be. I can't pretend to know God's mind, but what you need to ask yourself, Anne, is if becoming a surrogate is in defiance of God, which is a grave sin, or if bearing a child for these grieving parents brings glory to God.
Can I tell you something? Not much ever really happens here in Noreen. I mean, I didn't even finish high school because of Mama, and I mean, I've only been to Nashville once, my whole life. I mean, is it so wrong to? Doesn't God want us to be better than what we are? I could be someone that's special.
Oh, he wants us a hubris, a vanity. Having this child can't serve as a vehicle to feel some emptiness in your life. After all, it will not be your child. If anything, you will be serving as a vehicle for the...
But aren't we all vehicles of God? I mean, and couldn't the accident, that boy's death, the newspaper advertisement, all of the science that even made any of this possible, couldn't that be a vehicle for God's will?
Perhaps, but when I bear witness to our humanity, I don't believe all progress is progress, or that every creation of man serves the glory to God, or even our own well-being. So much progress is in the absence of kindness or love.
Well, I guess I believe that people think progress is done with kindness and love, and doesn't intention count for anything?
I suppose I don't have that high an opinion of humans, Anne. Between you and me, I think God has tasked us with quite a conundrum. In his image, but without his good sense. We are brilliant, but flawed. Even science can tread on the toes of God's intention. There is a rhythm, an intricate and glorious pattern to
But Genesis says that marriage is to be between two people, and that children are to be born of that union. And Sasha and I would not be married, obviously, but we would just be two people, and it would be a miraculous union. I mean, can you imagine death bearing life?
If we conceived of every action, every ant and tree, every child, every criminal as a vehicle for God's will, there would be no reckoning with the righteous. All things, all actions would be moral and pure, just as he intended. But this is not so. There are people and things that live in shadow. They have strayed from the path and sight of him. They're dead, lost. And I don't want that for you. But no, baby. I know you're looking and praying for answers, Anne. I fear the grief of these parents have blinded them to the natural order of things. I believe death cannot and shouldn't be bothered with. But ultimately, you got to take it up with your heart and with...
Oh, my darling, oh, my darling, oh, my darling. Oh, I thought we should get that out of the way, you know. I like to head that impulse off at the pass. As a person named Clementine. So, I only have one parent. Literally, just... I think she'd be a megalomaniac or something, but she's actually a very kind and pensive person. Really gentle. Intentional. She'll seem like she's not listening, but then we'll remember like the smallest thing you said, which of course could be so annoying. Like the ultimate weapon, actually. But mostly it's wonderful. She holds all these little pieces of everyone, all the parts you think nobody sees or cares about. Right. Sorry. Anyway, the point is, I can't really speak too candidly about it, especially to her, because she's not very evolved in her relationship to her body or to children. She's quite sensitive, and it's really not worth her knowing. Oh. That I'm totally freaked out by what she did. To have me, I mean, my uncle teases me and says that I sound like some miserable mustache feminist, and honestly, that's fine by me, but yeah. I think my mother fell prey to having very little identity growing up in the aughts. Like, people born into bodies with uteruses were still heavily pressured to have children as a means of, like, worth or meaning. And listen, I will never understand what it meant to lose motherhood as we knew it, but I guess instead of doing what we should have done, which is like, think critically about the undying urge for more children, when we couldn't even feed the children we already had and the world was dying, we seem to have tripled down. Taking pregnancy away only seemed to make the urge, like, even more powerful. Anyway, so when the sterilization came down and my mother realized that she would never have children the old-fashioned way, she took out a substantial loan from a bank specializing in fertility treatment financing. I'm a unibaby, a biological anomaly. I only possess DNA from my mother. I'm a monster, by all accounts. Actually, if I'm being honest, she's the monster. Going into debt to have more children? And of course the fertility clinics didn't give a shit. If people were willing to pay for it, they were going to provide it. The poor stay poor, the rich get rich. And that's how it goes. Everybody knows. There's always been poor people. It's not my fault. Oh, and who wants a brown refugee baby when you can have your own? Have you seen the photographs of all the folks fleeing Ireland after Hurricane Rosella? Something like a quarter of the population were climate refugees. You couldn't even see the water because of all the bodies. And then so many sharks and crabs and lobsters and fish came, they couldn't even claim most of the bodies because they were so badly chewed on or so bloated that they were unrecognizable as human! The mass grave site over in Belfast is like 1 of 30 worldwide. But me, I'm different. I'm special. I need a child. What she did scares me, honestly. It's like playing God. I shouldn't be here. Can I stop now?
Record. As I said, the Japanese developed the technology first. They realized that any non-reproductive human cell, such as a skin cell, could be manipulated into becoming a stem cell. And stem cells are pluripotent, capable of becoming any kind of cell, including, of course, a sperm or egg. And thus, a single donor could provide both sperm and egg. And it was the dawn of the Yuna baby. It grew very popular with single mothers. While it was referred to as the ultimate incest, a perverted and hyperbolic, media-frenzied term that belied the grave misunderstanding of the technology we were grappling with. Solo reproduction, in actuality, is less controversial than in vitro fertilization as a whole, if you're willing to actually engage with the facts at hand. There are profound legal and social ramifications to sperm and egg donation, not to mention potential diseases and unforeseen genetic deficiencies. Once you involve entities, other than the two naked people in the back of the car doing the rumpy bumpy, things get exceedingly complicated. Not so with just yourself. It is my personal belief that public policy, crafted in response to public ignorance, is simply bad policy. People are, of course, entitled to their opinions. But the average person does not possess the knowledge, nor the interest in gaining the necessary knowledge, to even form a valid opinion on topics as complicated and richly nuanced as solo reproduction.
Hi! I'm dead. Sorry if that scares you or complicates your ontological arguments. But believe you me, it's not as scary as some of the shit I see every day now. And you're better off complicating your worldview as much as possible because things are not as they seem. Oh, let me tell you. My parents, maybe you know them, Michael and Samantha Ponlius. We weren't too big on religion growing up. My mother had been raised Catholic and had the shit beat out of her by the nuns all the time. Believed God could read her thoughts. She swears she actually had like 2 perfect round bruises on her knees for nearly a decade. From praying! Well, anyway, the point is, I never really thought about heaven or hell very much. Now, I can't tell how long I've been here, but I'm definitely not being punished. It's honestly a little bit like that Talking Heads song where nothing ever happens, or things, they do happen, but not in any kind of linear way. And you can watch everyone who is still alive, but not all the time, not exactly when you want to. Oh. You are all probably curious about the whole mother's all thing, right? Sasha, has it been a good thing? We're all a little worried about the unforeseen consequences. Did it save the planet? Are we doomed? Well, okay. Here's the good news. The sex, still great. Turns out, people feel even more uninhibited and joyful when there isn't a potential third life hovering over the whole exchange. Especially women and everybody with uteruses. Trying to get pregnant. It's a real drag. Try not to get pregnant, now that's the real drag. So eliminated that whole dynamic. It's aces. And the lottery system, it actually worked. People put their name in, and all in all, it's a pretty democratic institution, bipartisan and global. I mean, the rich still bypass things now and then, but let's see, what else? In the 2020s, we were adding about 227,000 people to the planet every single day, which, you know, was having a pesky compounding effect on our dearth of water, land, trees, and fossil fuels. Things like that. 1 out of like 4 of our mammals were on the verge of extinction due to human activity. So, with Mother's All, a lot of animals survived extinction. The orangutans, the Yangtze porpoise. And then with Nicolay Moore, we killed off a bunch more. So, that's some bad news, isn't it? What's the takeaway here, Sasha? Sorry, yes. I guess that life, you know, making it, controlling it, ending it, is complicated. And eternity has done nothing to dilute the sensation that we have no idea what's actually going on. No. It's always sunny here. Like LA, but you don't have to see. People keep saying it'll make more sense as time goes on. Honestly, mostly it just feels weird not to feel sad. You know, but I don't. It's like that longing is missing somehow. Maybe that's the difference between heaven and hell. I don't know. Anyway, I saw you all here watching and I thought, well, I'd introduce myself. Try it out. You know, talking to the living, I mean, do I look dead? I don't feel dead.
Uh-oh. I've got a doozy. There's like 5 words in this sentence I don't know.
Oh, I just got to the most beautiful part. Please, you get the dictionary. Besides, we promised not to read old fathead white men anyway. Poor Mac McCarthy is vastly beneath you.
I wish I was under him.
Oh, Mama. He was a grizzled old man. He looked like a bulldog at the end.
We all look like bulldogs at the end, Clem. Besides, he didn't always look that way. My God. When I was a girl your age, I dreamed of running into him, seducing him. Those eyebrows, that brain. I had his picture up on my wall.
No.
Oh, yes. While you're scrabbling around down there, go get the goddamn dictionary. And the notebook.
Okay, Mama. Lay it on me.
Great cleavers and bone saws hung overhead, and truncate beeves in stark abattoir by candled hams blue-flocked with mold.
Okay. I'm starting with beeves. A bull, cow, or ox fattened for its meat. That's... that doesn't even sound like it. That's so annoying. Okay, next. abattoir. Slaughterhouse. That's not even remotely grammatically correct.
As if Anne Carson wrote in grammatically correct English.
She's a
Please.
poet.
So is Cormac.
Don't call him Cormac. He's not your pal. He's just your slavering bulldog-faced fantasy lover.
Next word.
Ah, good old Cambrilled.
Oh. Okay. I'll say it's something cured.
Wrong. A bent piece of wood or iron used by butchers to hang the carcasses of animals.
Damn, I should have known that one.
What? In your extensive butchering experience?
I mean, shit, Daddy was a farmer. I should have known beeves, too. So pretty, so dumb.
Shut up. Okay, last one. Blue flocked. That's just gotta mean like fuzzy flocked fabric, right? Like the blue ham was covered in blue fuzzy mold.
It's making me hungry is what it is.
It's not in here.
What?
Cormac is such a jerk. It's not even a word.
Uh-oh.
What?
It appears that fuzzy blue mold has begun ransacking the quiet town of Eugene, Oregon.
Please, seriously.
And
don't.
it appears it has a voracious appetite for young women. Young, precocious women with a penchant for cryptic feminist poetry and short hair. Its hunger is insatiable, its cruelty unmatched. I wish I'd known what it was like to be
Pregnant? I've tried to tell you that this topic is difficult for me. It's upsetting. So, why don't we talk about what you're going to feed me this evening?
Clementine, you're too sensitive. I'm sorry, but the world isn't going to let you dictate what topics are off limit because you find them too upsetting. Everything that happened, it's important to me.
We talk about a lot of things, and I think it's more than acceptable to just leave this one alone, okay? Because, yes, I have an outsized reaction to it.
I'd like us to be peers one day, Clem. And you don't know what I went through to make this, you, possible. And all I'm trying to say is that I just wish I had
What I wish is that I had a mother that wasn't maniacally fixated on being a mother.
I'm proud of your vocabulary, Clem, but I'd hardly call myself maniacal.
Those starving children wish they had a cheeseburger. California wishes it wasn't a Dust Bowl. Oh my gosh, Korea wishes America had been more discerning with its nuclear power because they still can't find a fucking bird or fish without four fucking eyes.
Clem,
like
what on earth are you talking about?
tiny little stumps for wings. I am talking about despite the fact that this planet is absolutely fucked, that humans
Language,
are still
please.
like a blight, and you are still. Never mind.
I'm listening, Clem. I'm sitting here and I'm listening.
No. Because despite having higher than average intelligence, you still had a baby.
Clementine, please. I know you want to understand, or you think you can, but you can't. You can't begin to understand what it was like to hand your body over to the government.
The world was dying!
We were all dying! human, Clementine. And I wasn't going to let the government tell me what my life was going to look and feel like. And I'm not answering to you about it. You're a fucking child.
You're a ridiculous person!
Why would you say that to me? What's gotten into you?
I'm just not sure I'm meant to be here.
Well, that makes two of us. Hell, that makes all of us.
Good morning, sweetheart.
Christ! Don't you know?
I did know. I distinctly remember the sensation on my knuckles.
You know, the point of knocking is to wait for an answer.
Well, I wasn't expecting you had company, Sasha. Hello in there. Lovely to meet you on this fine Saturday morning.
It's nice to meet you. Happy Saturday. I'm Victoria.
Well, I'm Mrs. Ponlius, but you can call me Sam.
This is a very odd tableau. You know, if you could just give us a minute, please.
Oh, God! That was single-handedly the most awful thing that's ever happened to me. God, you're practically inside me as she took my hand. Oh, God, I'll never be the same. If we could somehow deliver a powerful yet glancing blow to the top of my head so I never had to remember the sensation again, I'd do it. In fact, I let you just pick up a goddamn hammer and go to town. Oh, God, it was so terrible.
You'll stay for breakfast, though, yeah? Blueberry pancakes.
You're a real sadist, you know that? No,
Yeah.
I'm not staying for breakfast. I'm headed straight to therapy. And then the pub.
But we're on tonight for music, yeah?
Oh, right. But it's out in Alley Pally.
I can pick you up with my bike.
It's going to be raining.
You're not made of sugar. Hey, wear a slicker.
Well, for Ween, I'd do anything.
If you could save yourselves, you'd save us all. Okay, Victoria Bilbao. You ready for another round of crushing humiliation, wrapped up in social niceties and maple syrup?
Shut up. Lovely to meet you, Dr. Ponlius. Michael. And, of course, I've just met your equally lovely wife. And I'd just like to say you've done an excellent job with this one. He's a real peach. Kind and smart. The only two things a person needs to be. Well, I'll be seeing you all soon, I'm sure. Happy Saturday. Oh, that was like having a pint-sized politician in the room. If I had a baby, I'd let her kiss it for sure. Sergeant, she's charming. Where have you been keeping her?
Where have I been keeping her? She's not a sex trinket or something.
I don't know why you insist on being so secretive.
I don't think not telling you every place I put my body part is being secretive per se.
So this is more of a...
No! We're together, she's wonderful. I wanted some privacy.
You can have all the privacy you want. You do have all the privacy you want. Your own bathroom at 17. What I would have given you to have my own bathroom at 17.
No, I mean... emotional privacy? That's not even a thing. I don't even know what word I'm looking for, but it's...
You want some of your life to just be your own.
See, This, yes, thank you.
You're so very, very special to us. We just want to be part of your life.
You're very much part of my life, Mother. I live here and... You do realize you two are very intense, yeah?
We're not intense, Sasha. It's just that you're our only child.
No.
We don't have any other family.
I know.
Because Michael and I were both adopted.
Mom, I know. And I appreciate what that means. I promise.
Well, we're just thrilled you're having sex. Aren't we, Michael?
I don't know that I'd use the word thrilled. It's a bit much for blundering teenage sex, but my sentiment is along those lines. Good on you, chap.
It's not blundering. I'd rather dynamite in the sack, but thank you.
Okay, Mr. Dynamite, and are you using protection?
What are you, insane? Of course.
See, darling, and you thought public school was a waste of money. Fine education he's getting.
Michael, this is important. Do you want a teenage pregnancy on our hands? A shotgun wedding? A bulbous child bride waddling down the aisle? Oh, it's not a pretty picture.
Well, happily, we're rearing a proud atheist here. Abortions for all. To no bulbous bride.
Victoria wouldn't get an abortion. We've already talked about it, so...
Sasha,
Yes?
this isn't funny.
I'm not laughing.
Is she Catholic or something?
Well, she has some creeping Christianity from all those years going to sacred heart. But since you seem so insistent on talking about upsetting and exceedingly unlikely scenarios, mostly I just know how much she wants children someday. So I sincerely doubt she'd want one if it were to happen.
What is she, 17? It would ruin her life.
Because it ruined your mother's. Ugh. And you and Daddy have been married less than a year. I was a mistake, and you know it. And so do I. You are such a hypocrite.
Don't know what you're talking about, so please don't act as if you do. And what? You'd be helping to raise this very much wanted child in between school and lacrosse practice in the conservatory when you don't even wash your own socks or boil water for pasta.
I don't even know how we got into this. All I'm saying is that if I needed to, I would do the right thing.
Well, this is a rather subjective stance, my boy.
Ah, Christ, now you want to ball bust me about semantics.
Is she using birth control?
Oh, God. Use condoms.
Oh, that's not enough. Michael, tell him that's not enough.
Condoms aren't terribly effective, my boy. I mean, I'd reckon they're about 80% effective, which I think you'll agree leaves quite the open berth for your old boys to penetrate the castle.
Who are you, bloody Bill Nye the Science Guy? Christ.
Don't speak to your father that way.
She gets depressed, okay? You know, and birth control exasperates it. She's tried it and hated it. And we track her period, and we're very careful.
And
if she were to get pregnant, I guess we'd keep it. You think I can't raise a baby? Because I could. I could. You say yourself I am preternaturally mature all the time, but I suppose it's only useful if it serves your own ego talking about me at your bloody book club.
Sasha, I assure you, this is neither about your intelligence or your good nature. We simply want to be sure.
And besides, you know I want children. I mean, someday.
Do we?
But I do. And would being a 17-year-old father be ideal there? Does that... If you feel sufficiently ruined breakfast with this totally unnecessary and weird hypothetical thought experiment. I'm gonna go for a ride, okay? Great fucking talk.
People always want to ask me, what was it like to be born from biological detritus? And I'm like, it feels fucking fantastic. These people fought for me. It wasn't some sticky little orgasm in some ratty little bed. We were wanted. Really, really wanted. And those girls, the ones behind it, they'd made a fortune. I mean, they were in jail for like, I don't know, a year or so, but when the smoke cleared, there were no laws saying that anything they'd done was illegal. I mean, they were operating way, way beyond that. And our justice system, they didn't know what to make of it. They were embarrassed, honestly. And honestly, by the time the smoke cleared and their lab was discovered, which, just so we're clear, was cutting-edge shit. This is MIT, Stanford, the best, the brightest, brilliant weirdos gone rogue. Their methods, their science, had been adopted by hundreds of companies across the country. They'd gotten powerful men with powerful corporations to invest millions. And honestly, everyone was just banking on the fact that the laws would, you know, catch up or fall into line. And in the end, it was the US Trademark and Patent Office that actually stepped in to determine, you know, just who stood to make the most money off this biotech revolution. But really, those girls had just stolen the idea from Japan. Listen, when there is that much money on the table, nobody wants to be told that what they're doing is wrong. What's that old saying? We laughed all the way to the goddamn bank.
But that felt even weirder somehow. Can we just talk for a minute? I can't stay that long. I get really tired. It is hard for me to come here. Maybe you could pray on it. Ask Jesus what he thinks. I'm trying to understand what's happening, same as you, and I could really use your help. Jesus was into helping people, right? Does it matter that I'm dead?
Diabolical spirits can, and do, take on kindly appearances. But the Bible says that all spirits are to be tested against what we know from Scripture. And my faith is strong. Okay. I'll do it. Speak, Shadow of Sasha.
Well, what this Shadow of Sasha would like
Do
to...
not mock me, Shadow, or I will lock myself in the bathroom.
You know, I can't get in there too. Sorry.
Just spit it out, okay? What do you want, Sasha?
I got laundry to do, and dinner to cook, and things to sew for church. It's Easter next week. And besides, tomorrow morning I got an early doctor's appointment for a toothache.
It's okay, and that's what I wanted to talk about. My son. Our son.
Oh, Lord, okay, well,
Can you just tell me, what were you thinking? Why are you doing this?
You know, I already told that awful reporter woman on that awful news show about all this already. Didn't you see it?
You don't get cable up there.
Well, you didn't miss much. Bunch of rude, judgmental. I felt like a circus freak. What I did was between me and Jesus. And that is that, all right? I answer to nobody but the Lord. And besides, I am hard up. Do you know what $50,000 buys here in Northern Tennessee? A lot. That's what, all right? And my mom is sick. So I prayed and I prayed on it. And when the Lord told me that the Lord told me.
Said what? What did the Lord say, Anne?
Nothing. I just wanted to help your mama, all right? And your papa. They were so sick with grief, Sasha. Okay, and they reached out to the clinic here in Nashville, and I saw their ad in the newspaper looking for girls, for women who might be interested in helping them. And well, then I told the clinic that I was interested.
But why? They were strangers from another country.
It was the Christian thing to do. And besides, Sasha, I'm a little embarrassed to say so. My life was never gonna be anything anybody cared about. And do you know I'm a virgin?
I don't need to know that.
Well, I am. And when your parents gave me the chance to have a baby without sex, well, that made me feel really, really special. Like Mary.
Hello? Hello? Fine. I'm Layla Brown. I'm here to help tell the story, to assist with the archives of Mothers All. No, I'm here for Clem, to tell some of our story. And of course, the Extra Rations gift card helps. I know, sorry. Okay. I grew up an only child myself, not too far from Philadelphia, outside Allentown, Pennsylvania. It is an old coal mining town, like that Billy Joel song. Well, we're living out in Allentown, they're closing all the factories down. I'm an awful singer. Clementine's voice was lovely. She must have gotten it from her father, one of those did you sleep with the milkman situations. Just kidding. Clementine was entirely me. I was one of the first to do it. solo reproduction, but it became quite popular to be a literal single mother. Honestly, I was never that interested in the science of it. I was just desperate to be a mother. I was lonely growing up. I had very few friends. It was a quiet life. I know it's not feminist or something to say so. Clementine was trying to modernize me all the time. But my entire life, I knew I'd be a mother. It's what I always imagined for myself. It seemed like a beautiful thing. At the time, my boyfriends, the few I had, were not. I never loved anyone like that, enough to make a child with. And I thought I had time, But then everything collapsed so quickly. None of us believed it, even though we were reading about it every day. The summit, the sterilizations, the mandatory appointments. They were going door to door by the end to all outstanding carriers of life. That wasn't part of their acronym, but that's what it meant. They carried their little kits in these little bags. When they finally criminalized all carriers that hadn't been sterilized, I let them do it. And then the thing I had waited for my entire life was gone at the push of a needle. I barely felt it. None of us knew they'd develop a way to make some kind of life possible. A lot of people killed themselves. Some friends of mine. I got it. I didn't blame them. The war made it hard to imagine anything. And then, a year later, they announced solo reproduction, and it wasn't how I imagined having a child. I wanted that big belly and those breasts. But I was overjoyed that there was still a way. Because I spent a long time thinking it would never happen at all. I'm not someone who believes in God, so I don't think people are punished or rewarded for the things they do. I wish it were that way. But it seems a lot more arbitrary and cruel than that. People judged me very harshly for doing what I did to have Clem. But I think they need to examine the centuries of natural birth that were very, very problematic in their own right. You know what? I don't need to answer to you! To anyone! It's my life, and what I did is between me and Clem. I'm just not here anymore.
Hi.
Why'd you do it?
What? How do you know
It's
that
like a giant fucking television out there. You can tune in or out of things happening, and, well, you can imagine that a nuclear war was pretty compelling content, but I couldn't look away. Then I stumbled across your mother. And then you. Why did you do it?
I'm a teenage cliche, what can I say? I'm wired up wrong. I have bad genes. I couldn't bear the howling winds of existential horror. Pick one.
Don't be an asshole.
I don't know. Nothing ever felt right. I did like being alive. It was more I felt I wasn't supposed to be alive. And I was just so tired of knowing on like an animal level that what my mother did was wrong. And then the times when I didn't feel awful got smaller and smaller and shorter until I didn't have any of those moments left and I was just walking around like I was dead. I shouldn't have been alive, so I'm merely restoring order here. It felt like I cheated. I hadn't cheated, but I was the result of cheating. I just don't agree with what they're doing. Did.
Who is they?
My mother, the doctors, the banks, the governments, the lobbyists, everyone doing everything in their power to facilitate what felt like...
Well, what?
Well, maybe what my mother did wasn't hugely wrong or perverted on its own, but it was like a symbol. It felt like we were looking down a shotgun barrel.
But like science had gone too far. But what does that even mean? I mean, who decides that? By that measure, modern medicine in and of itself is a perversion of the natural order. Who should die and who should live?
I thought a lot about this.
Uh-huh.
Radiation, dental work, colonoscopies, skin grafts, even more aesthetic and arguably social-cultural medicine like plastic surgery, stomach stapling didn't fundamentally alter our relationship with being human.
The whole fucking world was sterilized Clementine! You know, I couldn't watch it all, but when I did see, it was devastating. Just like every other war. But this time...
No more babies.
No! That's the thing! We still found a way to make life happen. That's amazing to me. I don't think the skin kids should, the unibabies, whatever, it's all just words for life. I don't think that helping people bring life into new ways to this world destroys our relationship with being a human. It just complicates it.
Yeah, that's the euphemism of the century.
Your mother fought for you. So hard, that desire for you. Don't you think that makes your life that much more meaningful?
I don't think money and desire create meaning.
You are living proof of that!
So are the thousands of other unibabies.
Aren't you supposed to be a feminist or something? Shouldn't all this artificial reproductive technology fall under the almighty importance of bodily autonomy?
Not when so many businesses predicate their entire revenue model on making people feel inadequate without children.
Not just a pretty face.
Shut up.
Listen, I know I wasn't there, but neither were you. How could you possibly imagine what all those people went through? What your mother went through? You never wanted to understand what she did. You never even tried.
Excuse me? Why on earth do you care why I killed myself anyway? I don't even know you.
Yeah, but I know you. I've known your entire life. And it was big, messy, secrets. People loved you, not even for being pretty, but for being kind and smart. The most important things to be like for. And what? You decided just because you were lab-made or something to be depressed? To ruin your life and your
It
mother's?
doesn't work like that. I didn't decide to be anything. Nobody decides to be miserable.
Well, being happy is another way to be wise.
Oh, please. Depression is a lot of things. Narcissistic, self-serving, futile, but it is not a choice, okay? Besides, I think we can all agree I was facing down an unprecedented situation. My entire life was some fucking experiment I didn't have a choice in.
But you punished the wrong thing! The thing you're angry about is actually like society writ large. The hubris of man, not your mother. You talk about the natural order of things. Layla had the natural order of things taken from her. And then you took away the only chance she had to be happy.
It's rough all over. I guess even when you're dead, being human is still shitty. Please. This is purgatory, yeah? Some transitory stage in which I work through some of my past? Is this how you like it?
It doesn't work like that.
What doesn't?
Kneeling, praying. You know, if there's no one here, or there, or maybe we are there. I still don't know. Either way, no one ever shows up.
There's nothing? No one? What did I even do this for?
Do you get to watch a lot of things? Things that are really beautiful. Things you would have never seen if you were alive. And if you don't like what you see, you just, well, you just stop watching. Like bringing the curtains down on a play.
I can see anything? Anyone? Can I visit my mother?
Well, appearing to people it's tricky. I'm still trying to figure that out. But supposedly, once you do it, then you can to places humans have never been. Sometimes I literally just stare into space. Or watch historical figures, battles if that's your thing. Okay, or art. Famous performances. I watched Jimi Hendrix write Electric Ladyland right there in Primrose Hill. Incredible.
So, what you're basically describing is being glorified peeping toms for the rest of eternity.
Yup. It almost makes it worth it.
But not quite.
No, not quite. But I like being alive. So.
I'm going to go to Anne Carson's book reading When She Met Robert Curry. Do you know they still don't even agree when they met? And I can find out. Maybe I'll even get to watch them. Do it.
That's illegal. You're perfect, and I'm telling God.
So you've really been watching me? That is a boring nightly routine, my friend, let me tell you, because I was living it.
It makes me too sad to watch the people in my own life usually. Makes me feel too dead.
I can't even imagine what my mother's going through.
She's actually been taking salsa lessons and drinking a lot. All in all, she's not terrible. She's stronger than most. But you know that. Would you like to see her? Okay. Start by closing
what
your
are you-
Just close your eyes. Here. Take my hand. October 16th, 21:23. Layla Brown.
Mom. She's reading Anne Carson.
Hello, Spencer. Heaven, heaven is a place where nothing ever happens.
Record. Perhaps nothing marks humanity's departure from the burden of our bodies more than mothers all. Out of our ashes rose a tremendous new possibility, skin birth. No longer do we bear the weight of pregnancy, of nursing, carrying milk, like an animal. But of course, humans are animals, extraordinary ones. And some of us are still drawn to, still savor that idea of embodied beauty, that mammalian impulse, and we honor that memory. But we are all mothers now. In the wake of Mothers All, birth rates plummeted. Teenage pregnancy and abortions plummeted. Infant mortality dropped by more than 75%. There ceased to be the systematic targeting of our most vulnerable populations. Sterilization was the great democratizer. It served as a potent combatant for humanity's love affair with sanctioned sexism, racism, and class, politics, everything. Regardless of who you were, or what you cared for. Mothers All was the stop. Delete all. Record. Lovely to meet you, however virtually. I'm Dr. Lee Lawrence, the leading researcher and senior chairperson of Mothers All.